when I got the idea to start this yoga studio, I had been working for about 15 years and had been fortunate enough, and I think working hard enough to um, climb the ladder, as they say. And at that point, I was in sales and advertising technology, and I was making a really great living, and I had saved a lot of money. But all of that money was like sitting in my bank account. I didn't have the knowledge. Um, no one had said, hey, this is what you should be doing with your money. It shouldn't just be sitting in your bank account. And so while I had a lot of money at that point, I had, amassed some wealth for my age. Um, I didn't really know what to do with it. And I didn't really have a future vision for it. I certainly had like a 401k and IRA, but other than that, I wasn't thinking about building wealth and I wasn't thinking about what my future life looked like from a financial standpoint. And so when I started the business, I was lucky enough that I could bootstrap the business, that I self-funded it. I didn't have to take investment or any loans. I gave the business a personal loan and put essentially my entire savings outside of my retirement into the business. And looking back on it, I might have done it differently. I might have used other people's money or taken a loan, but I just didn't have that education. And so um, then what happened is starting small business is hard. And then a year and a half after the business opened, there was a pandemic, and that really affected the business. And I got to the point where I was running out of money personally, and I had to borrow money from my family. And that's when I started living in just an absolute fear state about money and a very a scarcity mindset for sure. Just thinking like I'll never make enough money. I don't know what my future looks like. And I really related to Delena's article, Nobody's Coming to Save You, because I think there was a point in my life where I was like, well, maybe I can marry someone who has money. And I think growing up, our family had everything that we needed, and I grew up in a loving home, but it wasn't like a financially abundant home. And but I was really fortunate. My parents paid for my education and, got me started in life. So I'm very thankful for that. But we always had that money is for other people mindset. Like we're living this modest life and that's just where we are. And that we were never taught how to build wealth or that we would even be wealthy. Um, I think there are multiple definitions of what wealthy is, of course. But yeah, so starting the business was wonderful that I was able to do it because I had made a great career for myself and saved money. But then all that money was gone, or not gone, but put into the business, so deferred until a future time. And I think the lack that I was experiencing and the fear that I was experiencing was a major source of stress for me that actually caused like physical illness. I think that it like really ate away at me and paralyzed me. And I kind of ignored my finances in a way. Like it was like this thing that I like, didn't want to look at, but I knew I needed to. And I think I was just finally at a point where I knew I needed to address it and had the mental fortitude to do so. And I was talking to a friend who did the Wealth Kind course, and she's like, this thing has been incredible. Let me like tell you some things that I've learned through it. And it gave me the spark that I needed. It ignited something in me that then I reached out to a financial advisor and started working with a financial advisor, and then talked to Lexi and Delana and decided to do the course. So that's where we are today. The Wealth Kind course and Lexi and Delana like changed my life and changed my perception of abundance. And they showed me what's possible. They helped me unlock this vision for my rich life that I had put a padlock on, that I didn't think it was available to me. And they were like, hey, see this thing. this is possible. And it's possible like sooner than you think it is. Like, you start taking action and it will be there for you sooner than you think it is. And they were so right. It was just like taking that first step and getting really, like, as they say, turning toward my money. And once I did that, then I was like, oh, okay. Then I can start to build and I can start to grow. And gave me the it gave me permission to see the vision of what's possible. And so I would just say that, like, I don't know if it's the course or them. I also know that, like, I must have come into it very ready to see this, to know this, to learn this, and I came open and available for it. So it was like a timing thing as well. But they unlocked something in me that I had tucked far away, or maybe that never existed to begin with. And now I like am starting to like dream about homes that I can create for myself or the life that I want to live. And for me, it's not even about things. For me, creating wealth is about freedom. It's about
Mm.
living life on my terms. And they gave me the permission to be able to think that way. There were a few major breakthroughs for me. One is that I know that my money mindset and my money story is generational. Like I said, I come from the most wonderful people, um, and and I'm so thankful that my people are my people. But we didn't come from a financially abundant family generationally. Like my parents grandparents were immigrants, so my parents are second generation, and um, they, came from Eastern Europe where it was just not a financially abundant life. And so I feel like I'm healing that and rewriting our family's money story. My brother's already done a great job of doing that, and so I feel like for me, I am especially on the like women's line of my ancestors. The women in my dad's family in particular, they were the breadwinners, they were the hard workers, they were the ones who had to bring in the money. And they had to work tirelessly for it. And so I feel like I'm healing that and giving and offering gratitude for them and healing that for them as well as for myself and for future generations. And so I think that the ancestral piece of it, that was a big breakthrough. The other big breakthrough for me was that I realized that while income does come from your work and productivity, I can also create wealth and income from other sources. And that never even dawned on me. That was a huge breakthrough that, like, I can make money in ways other than my job. And even with my job, I can create income for myself in other ways as well. Like I'm not tied to just making money through my business. Like I can do consulting or I can and have my own pursuits and bring in income, but also through investments as well. So that was a major breakthrough that like I didn't know. I didn't know. And so they said, it's easy to do this. Like, and you can start with just a little bit. And so building the financial foundation and just even knowing what my financial foundation was, just getting a clear picture of where I was critical in the first step. I always talk a lot about like just take the first step. All you have to do is take the first step. So that first step for me was a huge breakthrough in and of itself. And I'm a spiritual person. I believe in divine guidance, but I also believe that we are like co-creators with the universe. So it just pointed me in a whole new direction. And I think that that was a huge breakthrough for me. My meter went from, lack and scarcity to abundance and optimism. Previous to starting WealthKind, I only had retirement accounts and savings accounts. And during the WealthKind course, I actually started investing my money and looking at different ways that I could invest my money. And that was a huge shift for me. I didn't know that that was available to me. That's wild. I didn't really understand. I thought that was for other people. I thought that was for people with a lot of money. I thought that was for men. I didn't know that was like for me. I know this sounds silly, like I'm a smart person, but I just didn't know. And I am so thankful that now I know. I just set up a health savings account because I know that it's got the triple tax benefit. And what I'm working on right now is building up my emergency fund so then I can start to invest in my brokerage account. I think the fear, the deep fear and sickness came from I feel like I'm one paycheck away from having no money. And like what happens when that is the case? And so starting the emergency fund gave me this sense of peace and security and just built that foundation for me to stand on. And from there, then I can build. And I've set myself up, I've created a structure for myself now where I know that I'm taking care of myself in my retirement, my savings, my emergency fund. And then I know exactly how much I have to use for flexible spending. And so knowing that knowledge is so powerful because then I can make decisions that feel like I'm making them from like the healthiest, most excited place rather than from a like, I don't know. And this is why this course is so important because it gets us talking about it. That's why Wealth Kind is so important because we start to have these conversations. I haven't shut Kind and Lexi and Delana and the work that we've done together and the work I did with them has given me a sense of peace and security. And I've always said like security is like my core need and core value. And when I feel safe and secure, the world is my oyster. So I feel like absolutely anything is possible. And I keep telling my friends, I'm like, y'all better watch out. Like I'm about to be rich. And I mean it. Rich in life. I'm gonna explore the world the way that I want to. I'm gonna live in the places I want to, and I'm gonna live on my terms. I'm gonna have the slow mornings I want, the beautiful home that I want, and I want to share it with everybody. So I think Wealthkind has given me peace in the sense of security. I would say that Wealthkind has also empowered me. I feel so empowered. Whereas I felt like from a financial perspective, life was happening to me, and now I'm in control. I've got me, that I don't need somebody else to get me. Like I've got me. And that is a huge shift for me. That allows me to then make decisions for my life from a different place rather than a place of need.